Okay, so next up, we do have a panel discussion, and that is the only panel discussion for the day. So it is going to be chaired by Mr. Neeraj Sahai, Director Global Skill Park, MP Government. So can we have you on the stage, sir? Let's have a round of applause for all our wonderful panelists. All right, after this, we have Major General R.C. Paddy. Everyone, keep it going for everyone. Next up, Shri Rahul Jain, Director and CEO, Matrix Geo Solutions Private Limited. Do we have Rahul sir here? Okay. Next is Shri Vishal Joshi, Head Training and Capacity Building PDRL. Next up, Lieutenant Colonel Narendra Tripathi. Okay, and lastly, we have Dr. Dilip Kumar, Department of Geography, Shahid Bhagat Singh Evening College, University of Delhi. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this completes our panel. So let's have a huge round of applause for all the panelists out there.
Okay. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. And it's the topic which is very dear to me. Two regions. I am coming from the MP government, heading a global skill park, which is a part of the training and the skilling sector. Second thing, for last 2 days we are discussing different kind of drone and then how it can be used. But all of us know that none of the drone, anything can fly without if their operator, their pilot, the support staffs are not properly trained. So the training plays a very critical element in the making the drone sector and drone fly. I'm I'm very privileged to moderate this discussion with the esteemed panelists. So I would like them introduce themselves. I may not be do justice to their portfolio or their biodata. So sir, I will start from you, please.
As you know, I am Major General R.C. Paddy. I was commissioned into the Corps of Engineers, and I was the Additional Surveyor General of India and Additional Director General Military Survey. 2015, I superinvented, and post-retirement, I have been associated with three universities as Professor Emeritus of Centurion University, Bhubaneswar, as Adjunct Professor of IP University in the Department of Disaster Management, and Adjunct Professor of Jamia Hamdard in the Department of Computer Science. And also, I am the Senior Vice President, Research and Development of IG Drones. And we have got a vertical, education vertical. And we have signed MOU with a couple of NITs, IITs, some of the universities. And I wrote a concept document, for drone technology. As I said, if you look at the drone ecosystem, it is just not the drones. Drone has got, one is the manufacturing of different shapes and sizes. The other one is the application areas. The third one is your sensors. The fourth one are the components. And the fifth one is your education. Now, in the education vertical, if you see, when you look at the total ecosystem, we need people of different types. Those who have just school pass out, they can be trained, they can be skilled in one of the areas. Say, let us say somebody is interested in the electronics areas, so he can participate in manufacturing of drones, particularly for the electronics components. There is also for your batteries. That is one of the major challenges. Then the sensors. Unfortunately, when the government says that everything 100% make in India, sensors we are all getting it imported. The PCBs we are getting it imported. So most of the chips are coming imported. So we have to create that kind of ecosystem where many people can be employed of different types, right from school pass out to higher level, PhD level. So in fact, I wrote a very concept document and I have identified how much job opportunities are available. And based on research, when I was working with the Ministry of Science and Technology, how many people are required in India in this particular sector. And it is mind-boggling, and then the industry is growing exponentially. Now here you see, then when it comes to the applications, now in the applications, the everybody knows that computer science has got a major role in developing the softwares, but also there is a data science which has come into play, your artificial intelligence and machine language. Then comes to, it is not one, because when we are talking about different applications, so you should have domain knowledge, let us say application in the say, mining sector. So you should have some geology knowledge. If it is an application in the agriculture sector, you should have a knowledge in the agriculture science. Otherwise, how will you manipulate the images which you are coming? So they also require. So if you really look into the total ecosystem, so we need so many people. So the capacity building is not limited only to the engineering institutions. It is the general universities, ITIs, and then in the private sector. And we signed with MOU with Ambani University, sorry, Adani University in Gujarat. And then we found there are a lot of people who want to undergo some courses. They want to improve their skill. So that is, and the amount of people which are required to be trained in this area is enormous.
Uh, Thanks, sir. Thanks for your insightful comment and saying that the drone training doesn't need only the technical or only from engineering graduate. It needs the all kind of the people to come into that from the engineering side, non-engineering side also, because the drone industry need requirements are not only from the flying the drone, maintenance, operation, safety, security, and a lot of data science and a lot of other aspects. So now I would like to discuss the view of Mr. Vishal Joshi, who has been in the training department. So Vishal, what is your take? Do you feel the 5 day course? So that's a lot of feedback which I am hearing from the industry. This 5 day course is not enough. So can we give your insight? Is the 5 day course is good or bad, or what is your view on that?
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So we all know that this 5 day course is having a stamp from government authority, which is a mandatory for every drone pilot, right? So it's the minimum basic requirement to fly the drone. Okay. In these 5 days, the 2 days are purely for theoretical purpose. We understand, we learn the theory. After that, we spend 2 days on the simulation and 1 day on the actual ground flying, right? But let me tell you, these drone pilots are actually deployed on ground for various applications, like sir mentioned, for the mining, agriculture, surveying, mapping. But when I see the pilot is going to a farm for agriculture spraying, they don't have actually a farming background, or most importantly, the domain knowledge, as sir mentioned very clearly. So this 5 day course is just a entry pass, or you can say a gate pass for this industry. But on top of that, we need to upskill those drone pilots and the people with right set of knowledge, knowledge for the software, knowledge with the respective domain. That is very crucial, which is not getting as of now. That is the reason PDRL has identified the gap, and we have come up with PDRL certified courses, and now we are in the process of tying up with the colleges, universities, and the RPTOs. Around 10 to 12 RPTOs on be onboarded, and we are teaching them the software in detail, right from the mission planning to the execution to managing the data and the dashboard, which is not yet covered in the 5 days training course.
All right, everyone. So we do have Mr. Rahul Jain with us. So he's also going to join the panel now. Let's have a round of applause for him.
Thanks,
Yes, we can
Rahul.
continue now.
Thanks, Rahul, for joining us. I think Rahul how views and Rahul insight will make it complete the discussion. So we are discussing how the training is very important, and then how the 5 days training is enough or not. So that's the view has been said by Vishal. I would like to invite Dr. Dilip to hear from the academic perspective. What is his perspective on the training? How the his experience in build can help us in the building the drone talent in India.
Uh, Thank you, sir. Uh, Myself, Dr. Dilip from Shahid Bhagat Singh Evening College, University of Delhi. Our department is so efficient with all the facilities and the infrastructure, but not in the drone. So basically, we are in the GIS remote sensing field and photogrammetry field. So we have produced every year at least 100 students in this field as a capacity building. And our students are working in so many organizations, even a government organization as well as the public sector also. So my concern is regarding the drone related technology. Not pass. Take. Uh, can I speak in Hindi also? Yeah, yeah, please. Thank you. Uh, मैं सिर्फ इतना ही बताना चाह रहा था आप लोगों को कि हमारे डिपार्टमेंट इस मामले में बहुत ज़्यादा एफिशिएंट है ट्रेनिंग पार्ट करने में। और हम लोग आप लोग जो ड्रोन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करते हैं उस ड्रोन का अप्लाइड पार्ट क्या होगा? केवल हम मैन्युफैक्चर करके तो रख नहीं सकते। सो एंड यूज़र तक पहुंचना, चाहे जितने भी डिसिप्लिन्स हैं, बिकॉज जोग्राफी इज अ मदर ऑफ ऑल द साइंसेज. सो एज ए जोग्राफर they know each and everything in a little, but that information is very much required once we are going to the field. We are in the disaster management. We have a complete paper of the disaster management also, and we are using by the field work. Like uh, in January, we visited to the Chungthang in Sikkim. So there we have so many things we have seen, how the disasters are destroying the our infrastructures and how the CISF is working there. So all that part our student is learning and working in the different sectors also. Again, my another concern is we need some industrialist. They can provide us a educational drone for us to make or train the students also, and as well as disseminate the information in the general people. So we are also organizing so many uh, events for the school students also. So where the students in a 10th class, 12th class students can learn the things. This is the basic. So once we are providing all this information in the college and the school, I think the capacity building for our country is very easy. And I think the purpose of this conference will also be solved by the training and making the capacity building. So we also need so many help because we are now entering in this field, and we are also offering so many specialized course which is approved by the UGC, and now this year we will open that kind of courses also. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. I think thanks for your good view on this one. Seeing from the academic perspective, I would like to now invite Lieutenant Colonel Narendra Tripathi for his views, and I would like to ask him very straight questions. Army or the armed forces are known for their training methodology, the way they train, and that's the core, how they create a world-class force. So I want to ask him how he feels the learning from the armed forces or services can be ingrained or can be come to the civilian side, and what kind of rigor is required in the today building the drone talent in India.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this chance to speak in the August audience. In the defense, I mean, we are talking a lot about drone induction. there is a talk about a variety of drones which are being inducted at various levels, from the capital procurement, revenue procurement, from bottom up, top, bottom, whatever way. There are a lot of drones which are going in, but actually very less talk is happening about how these will be flown, how the training will be important. So, from the training perspective, the army still has to gain on the infrastructure completely. There are multiple training establishments for the officers, for the Jawans to operate as well as to do the sustainment of these drones. I mean, military is one of the largest, procurement agencies in India, defense being one of the structured organization which is getting the maximum number of drone orders. However, there is still a huge gap and void as far as the training is concerned. Now, training, when I talk about drone, generally operates on two modes: manual oblique assisted mode as well as the autonomous modes. For autonomous modes, it's very simple. I mean, you can be trained in maybe 5 days the DGS course. But for having a manual muscle memory of flying a drone, especially a bigger drone, I don't think so even 5 days, even 40 days is not enough. And another aspect is using the simulators for training. I mean, I have headed some simulator organizations. The simulators actually can do a very wonderful job in training the people and even Jawans. Second, I was also head of one of the training facility. I started some quadcopter based training there. But as we grow, we need to impart this training in more holistic manner. We need to engage with academia. We need to engage with industry in understanding. I mean, when I say we, I'm talking about all the defense forces, and we need to integrate. Now, coming on to the question, what sir asked, that how actually defense forces can contribute to the requirement which is faced as far as the training goes. So first and foremost, sir, these requirements are coming from the respective drone category which is there, which needs to be completely grasped by the armed forces first. Once they have grasped, when they have made their own systematic approach to training plans, when they have complete pedagogy in place, I am very sure, sir, this can actually be given as a return gift. These trainers who will get trained, of course, once they are out from armed forces, they can do a wonderful job. That the time will tell, and that's what the future is all about. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Lieutenant Colonel Tripathi. I think we have, I think, as an industry, civilian side has to lot to learn from the good practices, and it's like the good practices from each other. The helps to both the industry to grow. So, seeing it from this, I would like to invite now Mr. Rahul Jain, who has been using drones since almost a decade now. So he knows the how much the importance of a good trained pilot means to him, and he can share his experience, how he find the talent right now, what can be done. I think recently he has launched his own drone pilot training institute, if I'm correct. He can say more about it. So he's so much fed up maybe the quality of training by finding in the market, so he decided to train himself. So Rahul, your view, what's the challenges which you are finding right now, and how we're trying to solve it?
Good morning to everyone, and thank you, Neeraj, for the short introduction. See, we have been doing photogrammetry and aerial mapping since almost 2.5 decades. Earlier, we used to do the mapping using the satellite images, and then after we start using the manned aircraft. In 2012 and 2013, when we saw the drones in Germany, then we thought of using the same in India. So I'm just giving you a small perspective that how it has started. The journey has started of the drone in civilian purposes. Of course, it has already been using as the tactical surveillance device in defense forces. But what about the civilian use of this? When we started way back in 2013-14, none of the drone is capable of doing the mapping. This is the first step we have to thought of at that time. And then when we start looking at how the cameras are capable of doing drone mapping, and that was again a big challenge. The people have to understand there are two different categories of the payloads or the cameras. One is amateur camera and the another is mature cameras, the photogrammetric cameras. So the journey starts exactly from there, and we started an institute called Institute of Photogrammetry and Geoinformatics. Okay, so we trained more than 5 to 6,000 students at that time, and till date we have been training the National Water Academy, corporates, and IAHE, Indian Institute of Highway, and lot of other institutions, the government institutions. We are training to the engineers on this type of technologies. So there was a huge gap when we talk about our premium institutes. Even the IITs doesn't have the right knowledge about the photogrammetry and LiDAR system operations. When it comes to the real world problems, we don't know how to work in high hill terrains. We don't know how to use the terrain following methods. So the training, what we are providing as an RPTO, and again, it has just been started. The journey has started of the RPTO in 2022. So just 2 years has passed. And how much institutes we have for the pilot training? I'm not talking about the quality of training, but I'm talking about the volume of institutions what we have at the moment in the country. Only 200 capacity is there. And one RPTO can generate only 6 to 7 or maximum to 10 per week. So you can estimate that how much students can be getting the license, whether it is qualitative or quantitative. It is just a number. The second important thing is when we talk about the quality afterwards that whether they are trained for certain purposes, whether the pilots who've been trained, they can just fly. Are they capable of flying in different terrains? Are they capable of flying for the mining industry? Are they capable of flying for the railways? No, they are not. They don't know what kind of mission planning it has to maintain, what should be the height of the aircraft, what should be the angle. So those things are required for the pilot. Now, coming back to the processing team, when they have to process photogrammetric data or LiDAR data, whatsoever it is, they should be properly trained as per the law. They need to understand, again, I was discussing the same thing yesterday in my topic. So they need to understand what is the ground control network, how they need to proceed with the ground control pointing, if even they are going to do some mapping. In that case, they would require. If they are flying over a crowd for the surveillance or crowd management, they need to understand they have to fly on a certain angle so that maximum coverage has to be there, and the safety measures has to be taken. So those things are really, really required, and it is quite challenging. We would need lots and lots of institutions. The requirement is huge. There would be, in my opinion, there would be more than 1 million to 2 million people would be required in next 3 years for the drones from the drone sector, whether it is logistics, whether it is mapping, whether it is surveillance, or anything whatsoever. So I think it's a huge gap, and again, when gap is there, the opportunities are certainly there. So the people should come forward, and I would rather say that during the schooling, the STEM courses has to be there for the drone robotics, as well as the issue is we do not have drone as a mainstream courses in our courses, in our institution, in our academics at the moment. So the government should, or the institution should think over it, and they should start the drone as a curriculum, drone data processing as a curriculum. I think I'm done with my thing.
Thanks, Rahul. One thing is coming out very clearly, there is a huge requirement in the building the drone pilot, the drone training centers. While we are failing or falling shorts in the term of the quantity, also in the term of the quality also. The Rahul has raised a very valid point. So I think this is the right time for the industry, stakeholder, policy maker, investor, everybody to come, and how can we build the capability in India, capacity in India both, capacity and capability both. Because if we want to aim or we want to dream to be the drone hub, the right talent and right amount of talent, skilled talents are very much required. and I think we should work towards it. With this, I would like to open this house for open this floor for the question. So, if anybody has any question, please.
Good afternoon, everybody, and a wonderful panel discussion. Uh, I would like to add to what the panelists said. There is one drone academy opened in Bangalore with the association with MIT. So they are offering courses for 30,000 rupees, discounted to students and industry affiliation. That's one thing. I want to know how much you are charging for your RPTO.
Sir, this is a debatable question, and I think it is not the right forum that we should unveil our pricing. In my opinion, the pricing has to be something which should not be earning more than 10 to 15%, or even though break even is also possible, because at this moment the institution must think developing the capacity of certain technology in India. When we are talking about the drone hub, we should not target the profits. If you are talking about the profits, that you would not be able to do it. However, as far as our chargers are concerned, I've been running this as a trust, and I run this as a trust for last 16 years. I've been trained more than 5,000 students with almost no profits.
Great. It's very heartening to note that you're doing even service to drone training. Only one point I want to, under the RPTO, are you covering LiDAR and uh, photogrammetry also?
Sir, the RPTO mandate, as per the DGCA guidelines, we cannot train more than the course, whatever is being written in the TPM, training protocol manual, training program manual. So the courses are of course there, but they are separate, but they are under same umbrella. Okay, so we have 8 days course of advanced photogrammetric data processing. We have courses, you can go to droneacademyofIndia.com and then you can find lots and lots of courses which are other than the RPTO courses, and they are more on the drone data processing. They are not even the GIS courses, let me tell you frankly. GIS is totally different than the photogrammetric data processing. Drone data processing is totally different. Photogrammetric processing is different. DGPS or networking is different. And then after, when you talk about the sector-wise, so this sector, let's say, if I'm working in a mine, I don't require a person who has been working with a road sector. Okay, so they have some different mandate, they have different curriculums or different workflows. So those workflows we teach in detail so that the person who has to go to mining sector, he will directly train for the mining sector only. So we have industry specific courses which require drone as a tool. Drone is nothing, drone is just a tool, let me tell you very frankly. And drone, above the drone, there are several, several platforms are there. Whether it is magnetic platform, yesterday I got an opportunity to speak to one of my colleagues who required magnetic magnetometers over the drone. Okay, their purpose is geophysics. Their purpose is not topography. If somebody has to do the topography, he has to put two different type of sensors. One is either LiDAR, the processing mechanism is totally different. If somebody has to put the photos, the camera, the, the workflow is totally different. So need of our is to understand the technology in detail. We had already discussed in brief. We already discussed the things in a very glimpse manner. So we need to go into a little detail. Thank you. I hope I would be able to answer.
A wonderful reply. I just want to add what you said. No, I want to endorse your views. Drone license should be treated as a driving license. After 18, everybody should be given drone license by through training like this. And I wish you all the
Sir,
best. All the
only
best.
training institutions are how much? Only 200 institutions are there in the country. It must be more than 2 lakh institution. Then only you can train more people. And it is a practical based training.
Rahul sir, my
I
doubt
want to
was
I want to say that you can promote it like that. You know, you can have more promotion like that.
The industry need to promote. The government need to promote. It's not me who can promote. I am promoting myself as an industry, and we are also taking initiative to tie up with the universities. Like he has set up, the government of MP has set up the global skill park. Within the global skill park, we need to start the journey from ITI schooling and then mainstream universities and all that. So it's, see, it's not only India. Across the world, drone is a subject which is evolving, and it takes its own time to get into mainstream. That's what my thinking is. And it is going in India with a very slow pace. So it should be a little faster. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Uh,
so my doubt was from Rahul sir. Sir, this like RPT, you say कि demand of today is either the integrated course with the mapping, or for example, or agriculture farming background, or the separate course for this. Suppose any RPTO wants to come out or with these courses, integrated courses, he himself can devise the syllabus and thing, or he has to take some authentication from DGCA, or this thing will come.
See, DGCA mandate is very clear. They just only for airworthiness, number one. Secondly, for the drone pilot license, they are least bothered that what you are going to do afterwards that. Okay, so the institutions like us or the institution like IITs or other, they are training the people. They are making engineers, electrical engineers. If electrical engineers is working in something different field, it doesn't bother. They don't bother it. I'm an electrical engineer, never worked in electrical field. Okay.
That is okay. I mean, RPTO can himself itself devise कि I'll take 5 days का course or 3 days का course for forming,
Sir,
or 10 days.
course can be devised by the university, UGC or something. There are mandate. There are certain protocols of designing the curriculum of any courses. If you go to our website, then you will figure out that we have designed the wonderful courses with my experience with IIT Roorkee and IIT Ropar experiences. The people who is coming from that background, they have a wonderful experience in GIS and remote sensing and photogrammetry field. My personal experience is more than 26 years working with practically on this field. I am not at all theoretical. I don't know anything about the theory, but I can write down several books on photogrammetry and remote sensing, which I
Great,
don't want to do.
great sir, really great sir.
सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है, आपके यहाँ पे जो आपका स्किल पार्क है, इसे कितने ट्रेनिंग पार्टनर हैं जिनको आपने टारगेट इशू कर दिया है, या उसका क्या पैरामीटर है जो लोगों को हम कर सकें? जैसे मेरा स्किल इंडिया सोसाइटी करके यूपी में चलता है, हम लोगों ने भी ड्रोन की एक ट्रेनिंग कराई, तो इसके लिए क्या कैसे हम आपके साथ में एसोसिएट होकर कर सकते हैं? क्योंकि हमारे पास में झांसी में 13 ट्रेनिंग सेंटर हैं, अलग अलग जगह पे एमपी में भी हमने काम किया सर।
ठीक है, इसके बारे में हम ऑफलाइन बात कर लेते हैं। हमारे वहाँ पर ग्लोबल स्किल पार्क भोपाल में आ रहा है। अभी ट्रेनिंग पार्टनर के रूप में कुछ लोग से आइडेंटिफाई हो चुके हैं। सो इट इज़ अ गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी। उन हमारे आप वेबसाइट पर जाएंगे तो दर इज़ वेरी ट्रांसपेरेंट प्रोसेस करके दर इज़ अ डिफरेंट स्कीम इसके अंदर है। आप आना चाहिए, मोस्ट वेलकम, कम टू द MP एंड आई विल वेरी हैप्पी टू हेल्प टू डिस्कस इट फर्दर।
My name is Arshad, and my question is to all the members of the panel. Mr. Rahul, you said it is just a tool, but there are various aspects to it. Right from when you say tool, you are just referring to the pilot license and its licensing. I understand, but there's also a lot of engineering, and since this industry is still evolving, there are a lot of other aspects that will come into play over a period of time. And rather than just from the people involved in the drones, it should also come from the industry, like the mining industry and the other various industries, where they have to take the initiative to, adapt to this new way of looking at things, and understand the advantages and make benefit of it. It's just not from one side. It's from all fronts. So what do you all have to say about it?
No, no, I think you want to say something? No, a specific question.
Well, I'll just tell you one thing. Ministry of Science and Technology has got an institute of international repute, which I was also the heading that. It is called Indian Institute of Surveying and Mapping, where they are running courses for drone applications, short terms as well as the long terms. MTech and MSc also is there. Short term for mining application, for all geospatial applications, because ultimately what is there in the drone, most of the applications are because you are collecting image and interpretation of the image. And when in mining sector, one is also geophysical survey is also coming into that. So if the drone has got a sensor for geophysical survey, so you get that image and you do that kind of information whatever you want to find out from there. And for geospatial applications, for normal images, you find out, and those applications are also available. But to add to that, I will tell you one thing: the major area where we have got a lot of requirement. If you look at the Ministry of Defense website, the Army, Navy, and Air Force, they have given their challenges, and the various line directors. Let us say, for example, the Army, the infantry, the artillery, the engineers, and so on and so forth. Every line directorate, they have come out with their own problems, and there are many problems which are linked with the drones, drone-based survey, drone-based applications, both combat as well as non-combat. Combat, I'm not going to that side because combat applications where you have got many other things are there. But in the non-combat applications, like for reconnaissance, surveillance, that kind of a thing. So, but it is an interdisciplinary approach is required there. It is not one person with one domain expertise can do it. So multiple domain expertise is required. So say, for example, for engineers, if it is a minefield mapping, so minefield mapping means you have got anti-personnel mine, anti-tank mine, and this thing. It has to be mapped very precisely, and it is buried. So you have got you need both optical sensors as well as geophysical sensors. So the mining application, what you are talking about, those sensors are also coming into play here. The ground penetrating radars, GPR, that can also be put on board. So if you look at that thing, the entire ecosystem of the drone, it encompasses not only the drones, the sensors, and there are various other subcomponents. So we need capacity building in each discipline. That is what is important. That gives us a lot of employment opportunity for our people at different level. At the we need postgraduates, PhD levels. At the same time, skilled level workforce.
Any
Can I? Sir, it has been said that drone is basically a tool. And you put a sensor, required sensor to get the results, whatever
yes,
you want.
yes.
Now, basically what drone is doing is somebody has to fly it. Now, to fly a drone, you require certain skill set, basically, right? Now, do we envisage that such skill sets are available or to be made available in the university level
Okay.
or at some IIT level? The courses can be tailored for a week or 10 days, 15 days max, or 1 month max. Why I'm saying so is that if you remember the good old days, we have a driving license, light motor vehicle, heavy motor vehicle, and super heavy motor vehicles. Now, all these things earlier you used to once to go there at the licensing authority, get your test self-tested, and then they used to issue a license. However, nowadays, if you look at the present scenario, up to heavy license, you need not go basically to any of the licensing center. It can be done online. So when there is so much of a demand, as has been said, so can we have a look at those aspects that drone is to be only to be flown by a skilled person? Then how to develop this manpower? Can we think of some skill sets which are available to a smaller institutes and things like that, or a say, online form of a thing, I can understand it requires some practical training, yes.
I think the good question. What I will say right now, if you ask the requirement from DGCA for the drone pilot training, just the 10th pass. There is nothing like that. But as rightly told by the many the panelists, we need the skill at all level. From school, you have to start the curiosity. Then you need the ITI level, you need the diploma level, degree level, and PhD level. And rightly told, the drone is a tool, and it's the application rich vary from the agriculture to surveillance to combat to the other things. So the different operation or different the use of the drone may need the specific skill set, and certainly the industry or the policyholder stakeholder has to work on it. I would like to invite the view of Vishal on this one. They want to know कि
सर नमस्कार, आपका क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन हमारे राहुल सर ने बहुत बढ़िया कहा कि आईआईटीज़ और बहुत सारे ऐसे टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, बट व्हाट इज़ द यूज़ ऑफ दैट इंस्टीट्यूशन? आईआईटीज़ आर ओनली फॉर द डेवलपिंग द टेक्नोलॉजी, नॉट फॉर द एप्लीकेशंस, है ना? मैंने बहुत सारे ऐसे केस स्टडीज़ देखे हैं जो आप लोग या बहुत सारे गवर्नमेंट इंडस्ट्रीज़ जो हैं वो आईआईटीज़ को वो देते हैं, बट दे आर नॉट द अप्लाइड पार्ट. वो आप अगर कहेंगे कि सेंसर डेवलप करना है, दे कैन डेवलप द सेंसर. आप उनसे कहेंगे कि ड्रोन डेवलप करना है, दे कैन डेवलप द ड्रोन. बट व्हाट इज़ द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ दैट ड्रोन? It is not a single person or single discipline person can do. It is a work of the multidisciplinary person. They can handle that kind of data. As a geographer, as our University of Delhi is planning on this side also, in the drone technology also, they are also introducing one of the skill as a NEP courses, National Education Policy. In that policy, we have a 4-month skill paper. We are now introducing this one. But subsequently, we are also training the students in the field of GIS, mapping, digital cartography, field work, surveying with the GPS, DGPS, and aerial survey data we are also using. We are also providing a training on the photogrammetry as well as the remote sensing. So our students are so efficient in that kind. You can go to our student zone. Their stall is there, and you can find there are so many things we are doing for last 25 years. So the government is doing such kind of things. Academia is doing also such kind of things. But the issue is, if the students are trained, the first requirement of that, you can say the government organization as well as the private organization, they are looking for the IITians. They are looking for the some specialized person. Why not geographer? I know when earlier 95% of the cartographer is working in the Survey of India. Right now only the 5%. Why the 5%? Because it is totally captured by the IITians, and they need the civil engineers, they need the mechanical engineers. Where the geographer will work? The geographer's main work is it is one of the interface between the society and the technology. So in that side we have looking, and we must have changed the vision. We must have to change the mindset कि जोग्राफर को कुछ नहीं आता, जोग्राफर बहुत कुछ करता है. See all the planning purpose where the geographer is working as a multidisciplinary option, and one of the discipline where all the subject are taught. So this is my, thank you sir.
So summing up this particular thing is, see, we need, drone is something where a lot of things, lot of levels are required. When we build a building, we require laborers to the engineers to the valuers. So the same way here, we require the skill set on several levels. And this is the time for collaboration, even in the training sector. Like I am training the drone piloting, he is training the different type of manufacturing, he is training the different type of GIS based training, and somebody is training for the sensor manufacturing. So let's collaborate and we can talk to each other so that the total capacity building can be enhanced as a whole, and it can be really, really qualitative rather than quantitative. So if I am doing certain part of training, that can be collaborative with other RPTOs as well. Like I'm training for the geography or the post data processing as well. So I can be partner with other RPTOs as well who are not capable of doing the GIS and drone data processing training. I think I'm summing up with this. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
One last question. Uh, Actually, we are students from Banastali Vidyapeeth, currently pursuing our BTech, and also we are licensed drone pilots. So our question is basically from a student's point of view, like being a student in the initial stages of learning about drone, as we know that drone learning courses are divided into like broadly three sections: the training part, hardware part, and the software part. So being a student in their initial stages, what should we focus more on? Like should there be a balance of all three, or like one particular thing in the initial stage?
Okay, good to see one question. Good to see one question from a student perspective. So good, welcome here. As you rightly you told, if you are see don't have the two three parts. You told one from the operation perspective, one from the hardware perspective, and one from the software perspective. If I am getting your question right. So certainly it depends upon the your inclination also. As the some people are more well trained for the operational kind of role. Certainly I wish to be the jack of all, but it's good to master in one certain direction. So it all depends upon if some person has the knack or the initial skills of in the operational role. So they should go into the operational role, which can be the being the pilot, being the operation related role. Somebody who's come from engineering background, either the mechanical or production or something, get into the manufacturing related thing. Somebody come from the electronic side or ITI, they can get into the sensor design, sensor development. And rightly told, the drone being an tool, and the lot of things happens after the drone captures the data. So capturing the data is just the half of the beginning of the story. The real value addition happens when the data is captured using a drone, and there you need a lot of people who are from the AI, ML, software, and side. So I will suggest as a student, you have to see where your inclination, where your skill set lies, and then try to build in that. One thing which I can say you from that as an industry, drone offers you very promising career, that I can assure you from my experience. And whatever the career, whatever the line you choose, I think you will do good. I think one last, we have time to take one last question. Please.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Deepak. My question is that everyone is talking about applications of drone and their short-term courses, but no one private player is active in the drone technology short-term courses. क्या अपने को ये लगता है भी वो हिस्सा पीछे रह गया है जहाँ पे ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी के शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्स भी इंट्रोड्यूस किए जा सकते हैं? जैसे मैंने बीटेक नहीं की, मैं अदर फील्ड से हूँ और मेरे को ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी कोर्सेज करना है, ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी में इंटरेस्ट है, ना कि ड्रोन एप्लीकेशंस में, तो वो प्राइवेट सेक्टर के प्लेयर्स नहीं है इस फील्ड में।
नहीं, आई थिंक आपको शायद जो क्योंकि ड्रोन पायलट जो शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्स आप बोल रहे हैं पायलट कोर्स, क्योंकि उसको लाइसेंस होता है, लोग को पता है, देर आर डिफरेंट यूनिवर्सिटी हु ऑफर्स द शॉर्ट टर्म ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी कोर्सेज ऑल्सो। ऐसे इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं जो शॉर्ट टर्म, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ कोर्स यू आर लुकिंग फॉर?
Like I am from basically computer science engineering.
ठीक है।
I want to involve in the software technology of drone.
हाँ, ऐसे
basically.
ऐसे ऐसे कोर्सेज हैं, ऐसे इंस्टीट्यूट हैं जो ऑफर करते हैं।
But not that big one because बहुत कम मेरे को मिले ऐसे।
नहीं,
थैंक यू।
देयर आर मेनी। सो आप अगर चाहें तो आप राहुल से, विशाल से, आलोक से मिल सकते हैं शायद। तो इससे एक बात पता चल रही है, शायद इनको लिए भी ये फीडबैक है, जो लोग ट्रेनिंग देते हैं, शायद इनके ट्रेनिंग व्यवस्था का उतना प्रचार प्रसार नहीं हुआ है। So people who are looking for training, they are not aware of the training available. So that's the feedback for the industry also.
So I would like to add a penny. So the 360-degree summarizing question is that whether the drone should be highly educated, or so the pilot should be highly educated, or what he should know, and all this. Where the India is nowadays thinking the drone should be flew by Anganwadi Didis, where we are still thinking about the education. So my point of view, what I am saying, Modi is thinking that drone needs to be flied by Didis, but we are still thinking that
no, we need be highly qualified. He should be a BTech. He should be engineer. So basic difference being and my understanding seeing this all a couple of days, a pilot like and a driver when you go for a license, you didn't need any qualification, you didn't age. Okay, so being a driver, driving license is important to get it. Then after what specialized you are, that need on your requirement, on your interest and your specialization you will do. That's what panelists are already answering, but still it's keep on driving. So once you do a proper driver, then you can go for a high level, heavy vehicle, dumpers or whatever is in the different types. In same way, when you are going for a drone, either you might be a farmer, you want to fly your own drone to for pesticide spray. You might be a very good civil engineer. You are having some construction happening. You want to fly it. So on your requirement basis, you keep on adding all they are having into associated with different institutes. They will be helping you out like Padisar said, Government of India and Survey of India is having a lot of research and PhD level courses also, 2 weeks courses, 1 week courses. It's dependent on the requirement we keep on doing research and work. So hope I answered being a layman from this side.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. If not any more questions, I think I would like to close this session right now. Thanks a lot. Thanks being the wonderful audience, and thanks for all my co-panelists.
Thank you so